Hi, today we would like to talk about podcasting. What is podcast? Wikipedia says, a podcast is a series of digital media files distributed over the internet using syndication feeds for playback on portable media players and computers. Why people podcast? For many reasons. They want to promote their feelings, their passion, their way of living. They want to explain to the world why they like fishing. There are hundreds of reasons. Any topic is good to make a podcast. Before we start making our podcast, we must remember about those important things. First, we must choose a topic for our podcast. We have chosen the topic Euro 26 discounts in Poland. Then we have to choose a hardware for our podcast. Good enough is a laptop with a headset, but of course if you need a better sound quality, you might invest in a better sound card and a microphone. Having a topic and the hardware, we have to think about software. We decided to use Audacity, which is a freeware easily downloadable from the internet. After recording our podcast, we have to transfer the file from Audacity to MP3 format. To do this, we use lame codec, easy to download from the internet. Choose a location to make your podcast, quiet, peaceful place where nobody will disturb you. Take your time. Making 10 minutes podcast is not 10 minutes of work. You must remember about pronouncing with care, you must edit, you must listen and repeat. If you don't have experience in podcasting, write a script. You don't have to include every word you are going to say, but make a plan. Indicate intro, breaks, music and outro. You can also add music to your podcast. Okay, so now we are ready to record our own podcast. So we are ready for recording. Make rehearsal. Check sound of the recording. And pay attention to the P sound. You may use a special filter on your microphone, or you can edit the P sound in the Audacity later on. Listen to your voice. Pronounce with care. Remember, you want to attract young people's attention.
Be funny, be mad.
But don't be mild. That's okay.
Thanks.
So, while the recording is only gathering your material, the real production of the podcast is editing. The more time you spend on it, the more devotion you give to it, the better podcast you will have, and more people will listen to it and appreciate it. After saving and editing your podcast, transfer the file into MP3 format using free lame codec. We have our podcast recorded, so we may think about publishing it on the internet. We shall ask ourselves a question: where are young people on the internet in our country? In Poland, most of them are on YouTube, Facebook or MySpace or any other site with created RSS feeds. So these are the perfect locations to publish your podcast. But we may also create a blog dedicated to your podcast. Your imagination or creativity are the only limits as the promotion of the podcast is concerned. If you want to make your podcast more interesting, on the internet you will find lots of useful information about sound editing or free music you can use to your podcast or many more. I hope this is just the beginning of your journey into the world of podcasting. Good luck with it and see you on the internet. You can send me a